Hello Warframe Exchange videos, and I am back with another Wolfman review, and this Wolfman review is on the Spirit Halloween 2013 Techie Toys Jumping Bug. So yeah, I own Jumping Bug. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you wouldn't know that, but I do own Jumping Bug now. I've had him for a little over a month now. I bought this guy off of that fish guy. He sold it to me for a very reasonable price of $70, which I'm really happy about because I love Jumping Bug. Everything about him I've always loved because I really like bugs and stuff for Halloween, and we never get any. Well, we do get a bunch of bugs, but they're never life-size bugs. Well, they're technically life-size, but we never get any big, giant, mutant-type bugs. So Jumping Bug is a prop that I've always really liked and always really wanted. He's my favorite jumping prop for sure. But this year in particular, I was looking for him because obviously you guys know by now, my haunt theme for Nightmare House 2020 is Nightmare House 2020 The Experiments. So it is a lab theme. And I have an insect room in the haunt with like mutant insects and stuff, and so I thought, Jumping Bug, what better prop to have for this year's haunt than him? And that fish guy was willing to sell me his for a very reasonable price of $70. The only issue with it was this is cracked a little bit and the head had come off, but I glued that back on with super glue, so that's not budging, that's not going anywhere. So now the prop is perfectly fine, it's fully functional, completely works. So I'm really happy with it, and I really think he's going to contribute a lot to the haunt this year, and I'm really, really happy to own him. So, without further ado, let's get into the review on this guy. First, with the detail. I've always really liked the detail on him. He looks great. He's just a really overall cool-looking animatronic here. You have his antennas here that stick out. These are just, they're bendable. But I think they look best, oh, that looks kind of cool. I think they look best like this, sticking straight up. And they're covered in black felt or fabric or whatever. And then you've got his face. He's got these little hairs coming off of here, which are actually made out of like the same type of material as twist ties that you'd get in packaging. So that same type of plastic. So he's got those little hairs coming out there. And then his head is fully plastic. You have his big red eyes, and then his teeth and fangs, kind of really weird looking creature here. I'm not really sure what type of bug this is. His head looks a lot like a fly in a lot of parts, but then his body looks a lot like a cockroach, and also his eyes look kind of cockroach-like. So I've never really been 100% sure what he is. He's just a weird insect. I don't really think he's supposed to be any specific bug. He's like a combination of a bunch of different types of bugs. Right back here you've got the green, which I think is going to look really great in this year's haunt because I'm using a lot of greens and purples and stuff since it's a lab. I feel like those colors work really well with a lab, so that's going to look really great. And then you've got his whole body here. Really gross looking character, and he's got a lot of like glossy details on him, which really look cool. And then you've got his wings, which kind of have like marks in them, like it's gotten all beaten up and stuff. I really like the appearance of this guy. And then you've got his legs, which are the same material as this, and they are posable as well. So, and then you've got a little fuzz on him too. Now his base, I really like the base on this guy, and the reason why is because it's all black. Now Jumping Spider, I think Jumping Spider's cobwebs work very well, but in a haunt, you can easily tell that there's like a mechanism under there. I really like Jumping Spider's cobwebs, but I really feel like Jumping Bug has like one of the best bases for a jumping prop because it's just completely black fabric. And so in a haunt, when he's activated in a haunt, in the dark, this black fabric is not going to be very noticeable, so it will definitely look a lot more like he's just jumping up on his own, which I'm a big fan of. I think it works great for him, and I'm really happy that they chose this plain black fabric. I really like it. So he's a really cool prop. He's fairly large. I remember I was shocked when he came in the mail because I didn't remember him being this large. I mean, I remembered him being large, but I didn't remember his exact size. He's a pretty big prop here. And I'll demo him, and then I'll get into what he retailed for and my thoughts on the prop overall. So I have him plugged in now, and we're going to show you what he does. I have that on the back because he is a very fast jumping prop, and he's top heavy as well. And so if you don't have something to stabilize him in the back, then he's going to fall over. Now, obviously, I'm not going to use something like that in the haunt. I'm going to use something that's covered up, so I could probably actually just put his base underneath like the leg of like a shelf or something. That way it's covered up better and he blends into the scene, but just for the purpose of this I used that. But here he is. And no, he's not broken, he just got kind of stuck there, and it's because of the thing that I have here. It's done that before. Like when I don't have that thing there, he works perfectly fine, but the thing that I have here is kind of like hindering the motor there, so he got a little stuck on that. So no, he's not broken. So there you go. He's going off again. Alright, I'll just let him run his little thing again. Here, I'll give you a side view on him while he's doing it again. Okay, so he didn't even need help that time. Alright, so there he is. So yeah, as you saw, there was a little bit of problems there, but that is definitely because he's getting stuck on this here. Because it's very big and it takes up a lot of his base space. Because when I've used him before without that and something smaller in the place of that, there haven't been any issues. It's been perfectly fine. So yes, that's definitely the problem. So no, there is nothing actually wrong with him. Yeah, as you can see, he's kind of lifting up here because it's so heavy. But anyways, as you see, his animation is very fast, very cool, and I think it's slower because of that thing, because this thing is very heavy. Yeah, it's like really heavy. It's actually making the top of him like lift up off the ground here. So he is very fast though. When I wasn't using that, and I keep going back to when I wasn't using that because I want to reassure you guys that that is hindering his movement a bit. He's much faster. He's a really cool prop. I really like him. And I know you couldn't tell, but he does have lights in his head, which are really awesome. I really like the lights in his head. They look super cool. They're white, and they make his eyes glow and everything. But you obviously couldn't tell that because I have him in broad daylight right now. But he does have lights in his head. So that is him. I really like his animation. Obviously just a normal jumping prop animation, but I feel like he looks really cool with it. And I like him a lot. His audio is super cool. It's very disturbing, really weird, just bug type noises that I really like. So he retailed for $99.99 when he was sold at Spirit Halloween, which I do think is overpriced because of the fact that he really should have been, I think, $79.99 like the jumping spiders are. I don't know why he was a little bit more expensive, but all the jumping props were $100 that year, and I'm not really 100% sure why, but that's just how it was. So he is really cool though, and I'm a big fan of him. I like him a lot. So if you can find this guy, it's going to be very hard to find him nowadays because he is a rare prop now, but if you can find him and for a reasonable price, I'd recommend you get him. I'd say anywhere up to $150, I'd say, is a reasonable price for him because he's rare. Of course, if you really want him, you can pay even higher than that, but I'd say the most reasonable you can get with him is anything under $150. Above that, I'd say is a little overpriced because he is rare, but he's not like $200 rare. So since he was originally $100 for his retail price, I'd say $50 above that would definitely be not bad for him. So if you can find this guy, I highly recommend you get him if you're into this type of thing and you want him. He's a really creepy prop, and I really think he's going to scare a lot of people because a lot of people are afraid of bugs. I love Jumping Spider, but I really feel like this guy is a lot creepier than Jumping Spider just because Jumping Spider looks more like a fake spider. Whereas this one, of course Jumping Spider still gets a scare in, but this one can also just gross people out from the appearance of it. So it's a really cool prop, and I'd say my only complaint with it is the price. But on the Wolfman Review rating scale, I'm going to give Jumping Bug 9 out of 10 claw marks. So I hope you all enjoyed this Wolfman Review. This is a great prop. I highly recommend you go get it. If you can find it. It's going to be hard, like I said, but if you can, definitely go get it. I'm a big fan of this guy, and I'm sure you will be too if you can ever find him. So I hope you all enjoyed. Keep howling at the moon, my werewolves.